All right, let's talk about something we all feel. In this crazy world of endless notifications and to-do lists, that urge to just escape can be pretty intense. So today, we're diving into the art of escapism. Is it a lifeline, something we actually need, or is it a trap we're all falling into?
You know the feeling, right? It's late, you know you should probably go to bed, but your brain is just screaming, just one more. It's such a universal part of life now. So what is it that makes it so hard to just look away?
Okay, so before we go any further, let's get on the same page. What are we even talking about here? Well, escapism is just a mental diversion. It's stepping away from the boring or the stressful or whatever and jumping into something else, like a good book, a movie, or a video game. Simple as that.
And here's where it gets interesting. Escapism itself isn't good or bad. It's really a double-edged sword. So the big question we've got to ask is, when does that much-needed mental break cross the line and become a dangerous pattern of just avoiding life?
So let's start with the good stuff. Let's make the case for why getting lost in another world can actually be a fantastic thing for us. You know, escapism kind of has a negative ring to it, doesn't it? Like you're weak or something. But I love this quote from C.S. Lewis. He basically said, hey, who's usually against the idea of escape? Jailers. That completely reframes it, right? Suddenly, escape isn't a weakness. It's an act of freedom.
And you know what? Modern psychology pretty much agrees with him. Research shows there are some serious benefits here. It's a huge stress reliever for one. It helps us regulate our emotions. And it can totally spark creativity and just refresh our brains so we can get back to work with new energy. At its core, it's a form of self-care.
So the big takeaway for this part is that a healthy escape isn't about running away from your life for good. Not at all. It's more like a strategic pit stop. You step away so you can come back stronger, more focused, and maybe with a whole new perspective.
But, of course, there is another side to this story. What happens when the very thing you're using to get away becomes its own kind of prison?
So let's take that C.S. Lewis quote and just flip it on its head. In this digital world of ours, what if the escape is the jailer? What if the door we use to get out actually locks behind us? And this brings us to a really modern idea, time-based addiction. We're not talking about a substance. We're talking about getting so wrapped up in an activity, like scrolling or gaming, that you start to mismanage your most valuable resource, your time. And time is the one thing you can never get back. It can lead to neglecting everything else, from your job to your sleep to your relationships. And listen, this doesn't just happen by accident. There's a whole architect's toolkit being used here. Things like the infinite scroll, the autoplay that just rolls into the next video, the constant notifications. These are powerful tools, and they're not there for your benefit. They're designed to keep you glued to the screen. And that's the absolute key here. Our struggle to look away isn't always a personal failure. A lot of the time, it's the result of incredibly smart, deliberate design. These platforms are built to hold our attention because our attention is the product they're selling.
So this is a bit of a pickle, right? The activity isn't necessarily bad, but the tech is designed to make us overdo it. So how can we possibly tell the difference between healthy fun and a harmful habit? Well, it all comes down to one thing: your motivation.
And this right here, this is the heart of it all. The line between a lifeline and a trap has almost nothing to do with what show you're watching or what game you're playing. It has everything to do with why you're doing it.
There's this great framework from psychologist Frode Stenzing that breaks it down perfectly. He says there are two kinds of escapism. First, you've got self-suppression. That's when you're running from something, a bad thought, a tough emotion. Then you've got self-expansion. That's when you're running to something, a cool experience, a new skill, a new part of yourself. Which one of those sounds more like you?
Now here's what's really wild. That deep down why, whether you're running from or running to, it actually shapes your taste in entertainment. It literally predicts the kind of stories you're going to choose.
Check this out. A fascinating study looked at moviegoers in India and kind of split them into two groups. First, you have the escapist viewers. Their goal is pleasure, distraction. They love high-energy, fun stuff. Then you have the eudaimonic viewers. These guys are looking for truth, for meaning, for something to think about. They lean towards more serious, thought-provoking movies.
And the data just spells it out so clearly. The researchers looked at how much these groups liked masala films. You know, those big commercial blockbusters with a mix of everything. The escapist viewers, they rated them a massive 4.5 out of 5. They loved them. The meaning-seeking eudaimonic viewers, barely a 2.36. That is a huge difference, and it's all driven by their core motivation.
So think about your own habits for a second. When you crash on the couch at the end of a long day, what are you really after? Is it just pure comfort and fun, or are you looking for something that's going to challenge you or help you find some meaning? Look, there's no right or wrong answer here, but just knowing your why, that's a superpower.
And that brings us right back to the main point. Whether your hour of gaming is a good thing or a bad thing has very little to do with the game itself. It has everything to do with your intention going into it.
At the end of the day, that's all escapism is. It's a tool, and a really powerful one. And like any tool, you can use it to build something amazing, to build yourself up, to recharge, to grow. Or you can use that same tool to build walls and hide from the world. The choice is always yours. So the next time you feel that pull, that urge to hit play on the next episode or to start that next level, just pause for 1 second and ask yourself, am I using this as a tool for growth, or am I just looking for a place to hide? The answer to that question? Well, it just might change everything. Thanks for tuning in.